We'd be two rocks just staring at each other, and then it would build up and build. It would build, and then we'd explode, and it would be very, very violent and aggressive. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Unfiltered Couple Show. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Justin.
And today's episode is going to be about... He's too busy for me.
Oh, yes. Time management with girlfriend and boyfriend. And surprisingly, we do have a new name that we listed. You guys will probably already know, but for us, we've just created our new name, and we've called it...
The Unfiltered Couple Show.
Yep. I thought that was a good name to just describe who we are and what this podcast would be.
Unfiltered and unscripted.
Yes. So if you guys have the chance, go follow us on... Oh, we've decided that we're actually going to do YouTube and podcasts. So
you guys can watch and listen.
Yeah, so follow us on YouTube, same name, and then also on Spotify and coming up on Apple Music. So, all right, let's get to our topic today.
Okay, so our topic today is going to be titled, He's Too Busy for Me, and it's basically when, you're dating someone and you're just trying to find the time to spend time together. But sometimes it doesn't always work out, and sometimes you might feel like your partner isn't paying attention to you as much, or they just don't have the time for you because, obviously we have two different lives and there are things that pop up.
Yes, I would agree. Well, for me at least, I run my own business, so it's a little bit more hectic. I'm more of a 24/7 type of management deal, but for me, I work 24/7. So for me, yes, relationship is important, but there's also things running in my head that Kelsey doesn't know about because I really don't like talking about work in front of her and stuff like that.
And that's something that we try to communicate to each other about, but it can be difficult.
Yeah, and so there's things that will show up, things that Kelsey would be a little pissed, I guess, about that I have no idea because in my head I've got tons of stuff worrying, is this working? Is that working for business purposes? But, I think that's something that you just have to talk with your partner about and really be open-minded because, when both of us is working and having our separate lives as business, you really don't think about your other partner. But when you come back home, if you work a 9-to-5 job, a corporate job, it's pretty nice. You just come back home and you do just not think about it. And that's Kelsey. But for me, because I do run my own business, I constantly have to manipulate and keep thinking of things. So there's things that will pop up as in like, I don't give her enough attention, or I'm just distracted with work and, she's not, she's mad that I'm not giving her 100%. And to me, I don't realize that. But I guess that is true to a certain point. And so we do talk about it. And that's something that I think it's important if one of you guys are busy, right? Especially now because you guys are working from home, or should be, I don't know.
Oh, that's a good thing that you've brought up. Yeah, working at home.
Yeah, a lot of people work from home, so
you're constantly bumping into each other.
Yeah, so just being able to understand each other's busyness and sort of figure out time-wise would be the best thing to do in my opinion. Yeah.
And I think really setting that time, I think it's something that we can also work with too, work on, setting a time so that we know that, hey, this time is not
yes,
personal dating time, it's work time.
Yeah, I agree, but I work 24/7, so just business has it's just every minute or second I'm thinking of work.
Yeah, that's with us.
Right, so that just becomes with just being able to understand each other, right? If you guys can't understand each other's and personal lifestyles, then it becomes a little harder to sort of work with each other. So understanding each other's lifestyle, because, you could be dating an athlete, right? That's a professional athlete. And you wouldn't understand them if you weren't a personal athlete, right? So I'm not a personal athlete, but they'd probably be training 24/7, right? And you just wouldn't know their lifestyle, and you just have to adapt to how they live, because you never live with someone who's always working out and doing this and that, doing this. So I think it's just figuring out a balance between each other's relationship and lifestyle on what's going on, right?
Yeah, I think that's a really good...
So funny.
I think that's a really good thing. Understanding each other's lifestyles and understanding, you know, what's going on in their head. And I think that's something that you should always communicate about.
Mm-hmm. And in my view, right, you know, I'm always more busier than you.
Yeah, because he runs his own business and we do work together. And so we like see each other almost every day. So we're kind of used to it at this point. But definitely when we first started dating, this was a matter of, you know, where I didn't understand where his head was at. And I thought that he really valued his life or working life over like our dating life. Like I really thought that. And we had several moments where like that was the breaking point.
Yeah, I think work has been the biggest struggle with us in a relationship, just because, you know, even Sundays, Saturdays, you know, Monday, Tuesday, the morning I wake up to the day I sleep, you know, it's constant work. So I think for me, I've just been able to adapt to switching my head on and off, on and off. But I'm the type of person where if something's stuck in my head, there's nothing like I've got to do it. It's like, if I don't do it, then, you know, my life is ruined, or like I'm gonna constantly think about it. So if I have an idea or like something sparks in my head, until I get that done, like I'm not doing anything else.
And he's gotten way better at that. Like now, when we first started dating, like work, like that was literally his mindset. Like I gotta get this done, and if you can't give me the time to get this done, then like my whole world is gonna fall apart. Type of exaggerated situation, like mindset. But like now it's gotten a lot better where we can manage our time and set aside work for our personal time.
Yeah, I think just, you know, there are times that you know, you can't just constantly work. And I guess in my personal view, and probably others, right, there's probably one that is constantly working, right? Someone who is trying to pay the bills, or, you know, trying to expand their money, or trying to be a little bit more wealthy and stuff like that, just for a better future. And so I think that's also something that you have to explain to your partner about is,
for sure, yeah.
You know, I'm not working, right, just because, you know, I'm not giving you attention, right? And I'm just not only focused on work, it's just because I have to work to sort of make a future for us.
Yeah,
right?
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what was not communicated from the beginning. So to me, it was like, oh, he values his work way over me, and he'd rather have a good work life than, you know, have a relationship with me. But it wasn't that, it was.
Yeah, I have a bigger picture in mind, but this one right here is just a little...
like in the moment, yeah.
Yeah, so like, I see bigger pictures. Kelsey's just more of a day-to-day type of person. Like, what do we do today? And then what do we do the next day? We're going to go to bed now. All right, time for the next... I see more of a bigger picture. I'm more long-term gain. So I'm thinking of, you know, 2 or 3 days ahead of time. So my head is sort of wrapped around more other things. And I guess that just comes with my personality, that I'm just not cautious, but more visionary. I'd say I'm visionary for the future. But obviously, if I don't talk to her about this, which, you know, in the beginning I never did, because I'm just focused on myself. And to be honest, I never had someone to talk to, and I don't like opening up stuff. So it's a little harder for me to sort of understand that why I have to tell you things. But you got to realize that she can't read my mind, and I can't read her mind. So the only way we're going to get through something is by talking to each other. Even if it's stuff that you don't want to talk about, it's better off to just say something and get it out of your head. That way your partner knows, and they know how you're feeling, right?
Yeah. And the thing for me, it was like, I knew that he really, like, I knew he didn't, you know, value his work way over our relationship. Like, that wasn't it. Like, I knew that, like, deep inside, but I just wanted to hear it. And since he couldn't tell me, I was really like, I got petty upset and like upset over small things. I just wanted to hear it. But I think that's the thing with a lot of girls and a lot of partners in relationships. Like, you know deep down inside, but you just don't want to. You just want to hear it, you know, like out loud from your partner.
Sure, not for me.
I'm sure some people
right,
can relate to me.
Yeah.
I just want to hear it from you.
I understand. No, in the beginning I never understood, but now I understand, and so I'm more open to telling you things.
And it's gotten way better because, you know, we understand each other now.
Right, but I mean, talk about a year ago, you know, I just would not understand what is going on in her head because, and I'm like, who cares? I don't care, you know? Like, why do you care so much about what's going on when it's my life? But I guess you just have to understand that it's not just my life anymore because you are with someone else. And so when you're spending, I guess, like you said, 50-50 of your life together, if, you know, if communication isn't open up enough to understand each other, then yeah, you're going to misunderstand a lot of things where like, oh, he doesn't like me anymore.
Which is so pretty petty if you think about it.
Well, yeah, you were like that. I mean, look, I literally not every single night, but like at least once a week, Kelsey would come at me and like, you don't like me, blah, blah. Why don't you do this with me? I'm like, I got stuff to work on, but I guess it's not just her fault, but in a perspective of us both, there's things that we could have done better, I think.
Yeah, and just to understand a little bit more, like, kind of story time. When we, like story time, I'm going to go into a story. Okay. So, a little story time. When we first started dating, that's when, like,
closer to the mic.
That's when Justin's tennis business got rolling, and we kind of started it together. Right? Like, he already had lessons going, but when we started dating, like, we tried to make this a company and what it is now to this day. And when we started dating, that I did not understand, you know, all the things that were going through his mind, because I'm not a business owner. I'm not an entrepreneur, but he is. And I just couldn't comprehend all the things that he was thinking on top of me. And so for me, my mindset, because it was not communicated, it was, you know, we're in a relationship, but he values his work way more than, you know, my relationship with him. And that's where there was miscommunication and I didn't understand. And that's where, like, petty arguments came up.
Well, I think it's also that it is key to share your vision for the future, right? And I think that's something that I made a hiccup because for me, I was worried about, you know, when's the next house, or, you know, when we're going to get a house. When are we going to get a car, you know, a brand new car? When are we going to, you know, go on a vacation? There's things that, like, I want to do together, but there's things that I didn't tell her because, you know, I also want to invest all this money. And so there's things that I would thought that she wouldn't understand. But, you know, even if your partner doesn't understand some things, it is open-minded to tell them what is going on in your head because without you realizing what your partner thinks, they're just gonna have subjective thoughts in their head where they're gonna say, like, they're gonna think other things than what you think, right? And so in a relationship, you never want to guess on anything, right?
Even if they know deep down inside, which was me, like, I knew deep down inside, but I wanted to hear it from him.
Right, and I understand in that point of view, but, you know, never guessing is the best thing because once your, you know, partner starts to guess things, you know, good luck, you know, there's things that's going to pop up like, hey, do you love me? Do you want to spend time with, you know, they're always going to ask you questions. I mean, still to this day, like, Kelsey still asks me questions. You know, we've gotten better, but there's things that, you know, I just don't say things that much. And I think that's just my personality. And so Kelsey's just been open-minded that I don't talk a lot. You know, I'm more of a head mental person. Like, I say things in my head. I don't say a lot of things out. But we've gotten better. You know, there's stuff that she still asks me. And
but I also think it's also, like, it could be frustrating, not only for the person, like, in my stance, like, it's not only frustrating for me to not be able to hear what my partner has to say, but I think the other way around, I think it would be frustrating for someone like in your position where I'm like, hey, do you love me? Like, why aren't you giving me attention? Like, why are you only focusing on work? I bet it was frustrating for you being the person receiving that and being like, that's not it though.
Right. So that's where our fights mostly started, is because it's frustrating enough that I got something busy to do, and it's really important, right? And then, you know, someone's bugging me. It's like, you know, you got to get something done, but like in the back of your head, someone's like tweaking your head, like, you know, it's like, like, get off of my back type of thing. So that's where most of our fights started.
Yeah.
But you know, nowadays, and I would suggest if you guys do have relationships like that, say stop. Just stop whatever you're doing, right? 5 minutes won't do anything, right? 5 minutes won't mess up your whole business life, right? Like, I understand if you're in a meeting, right? You just can't, and your partner should know. But if you're working by like at home on your assignments or something like that, 5 minutes isn't going to hurt you, right? Just take your 5 minutes, go talk with her, go get some water or something,
or
right?
Explain the situation.
Right. Take some time and just talk with your partner. They'll be more understanding of what's going on. And I think that's the biggest part is, you know, like I said, everything is about communication, right? It's just
it really is
being open-minded, and I guess in my perspective, just stopping everything, because, you know, work and relationship is also, I consider, a job, right? Relationship is a job. It's not something that you can just have just normally. You've got to work
with it.
Right. So if you start not doing stuff, right, then what happens, right? Things start to crumble. So, I mean, imagine like work. If you know, you start working constantly, right? And all of a sudden you stop working, right? And your boss is telling you, hey, you need this done, you need this, you know, but you just don't do it, right? Then you're probably going to get fired, right? So that's probably what happens in a lot of relationships, is you guys in the beginning worked really well together, and you guys talk about things and get things through, and you get open to it, right? And then you guys are on this constant wave of like consistency, right? Where you guys are just like cruising along, and then one thing really hits you, and you both just stop talking, and you just start not even, you know, communicating, and you guys just stop everything, right? Then it goes downhill from there, right? And then worst comes to work, you guys do break up, or you guys divorce or something. So understanding each other and thinking of it as a job is a great way, for me at least.
Not like a dreadful like
right,
but like think of it as if it were a job position, like something you really want and something you really want to work for, but you have to put in the effort, especially since you're working with someone else. Right.
It's like a working on a project with somebody, right? If you do 60% of the work and the other person does 40%, are you happy?
No, right? I wouldn't be.
You'd probably be irritated, right? And that's the same thing of a relationship. Somebody cannot just be giving 60%, right? And then the other 40% you're working on something else, right? It just doesn't work. And I think that's what business and personal life is all about, is just being able to balance that in between, especially when you have a business, because you are working 24/7.
And that's something that's like so new. I'm pretty sure not only our relationship, but maybe others in a similar position as us, like where someone has a business, their own self-made business as an entrepreneur, and then the other person is just a student, like in our case, or like, you know, they're doing their other things that, you know, they want to prioritize, but it's not their own business. You know, they may work for someone. I think that's a huge difference, because you don't have that mindset that your partner has, where they have a lot of things to worry about. Like what kind of things, like dealing with clients, like, you know, branding yourself, whatever it is for your own business, that's a lot. And you really need to understand all those things on top of you. And something that, like, I realized after having those arguments is, you know, I feel like I was a burden. Like, I became a burden on top of all of the other things that he had to think about in his head, just because of the petty things that I was.
I'm not going to agree or disagree, but
that I selfishly made an issue out of nothing for. And I feel like now, I feel like that was a burden for him, and I became a burden. And I don't ever want to be like a burden in our relationship for him on top of all the problems that he has to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So I think that really helps me to step back and realize that I'm not the only thing he's doing.
Right, you just have to communicate, and that's what I'm saying. Communication is always key, no matter what problems you're having. You've got to be able to open up to your partner and just realize that there are things that you guys both need to be working on, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, hopefully this helped everyone understand that work is work, but
it's okay for your partner to be busy, and
right.
It's okay to think that my partner's too busy for me. Like, that's a normal thing to think about, because you have your own lives. You have your own separate lives and priorities on top of your relationship.
Right. But I guess there is a limit to it,
Right.
Like I said, a relationship is a job also. Mm-hmm. So if as in say your partner is just focused on work itself, mm-hmm. and that's all he's focused about, maybe that's not the relationship for you, right? Because as somebody who works 24/7, he's also able to spend time with you, right? Or
mm-hmm.
Think about parents, right? Parents juggle more things. You juggle being a parent,
mm-hmm.
also a
lover,
and
also a caretaker.
Right. There's so many things
provider.
Involved, right? And so if your partner is just focused on one thing itself, maybe it really isn't for you.
And that's exactly the mindset that I had at the beginning of our relationship, when he was so, when I thought infatuated with his work and so preoccupied. I thought maybe this isn't the relationship. When we fought, I literally said, maybe this isn't the relationship for us. Maybe we just you need your time and I need my time. And I remember this clearly because we were in the car and this came up, and this was when his workload was he had so many kids he had to take care of. I was just on the sideline. Like, I was helping him. Yes, I was doing the back end work, but I felt unappreciated and, just like the side. Like, I felt pushed under the rug and to the side. And that's where I literally said to you, maybe this isn't the relationship for us.
Right. It's just got to work it out.
But that wasn't when we communicated. That wasn't,
right.
Yeah.
Communicate, work things out, realize what your partner is doing, right? Is he really busy, or is he just really just
doing it for you?
Yeah, like
both.
Yeah, so realizing, what his end game is, I guess that's really important. Just knowing the end game is just so crucial about your future, because as my point of view, I'm always focused on, what's next, what's the next year gonna look like, what's 5 years or 10 years looking at.
I cannot do that.
Right. So, there's some people are like that, or some people who are day to day, right? And when you work day to day, that's fine, right? You guys will probably have more communication, but when somebody is like closed doors and has future goals and has not told the partner about things,
yeah,
the partner will think of other things that you might not have thought about, like, hey, what is he thinking about? Yeah. And it's just things like that. So just being open-minded and realizing, is he really busy?
Yeah.
Or is he just not affectionate, or just does not love me, right?
And I think that's what really helped for me was, like, at that moment when we had that argument, like, in the car, he literally told me, like, hey, this is for us. Like, I'm doing this for us. And that's where I was like, oh, wow. And I felt so bad. But, like, after that,
well,
it's gotten better.
You usually always feel bad after you.
Yeah, I always feel bad. Like, even yesterday, like, we had a little fight, like, on this topic, and I started bawling my eyes and crying.
I mean, you just get used to it.
I felt so, like, bad. Like, for me, when something happens in the moment, I get so caught up in the moment, and, yeah, so, like, I started bawling yesterday.
You just gotta work it out. I mean,
petty stuff.
Yeah, I'm a very simple person.
And he's like, why are you crying? And I just couldn't tell him.
Some people are just more complex than other. I think if both of you guys are like, if your partner and you are very complex, like, you guys have crazy thoughts going in and out in your head, that's a little harder. But when one person's a little bit more simpler and just like you know,
Not saying
is
that
more
those
logical,
relationships
right?
don't work. We're just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying if one person is more logical than the other, it's a little bit more easier to work things around.
Like, not logical, but like more, like someone's more in the moment, more emotional, and then someone's more like, you know, realistic, like kind of like.
Yeah, I'm
calm. Like, he really puts me down. Like, he helps me stay put.
grounded.
He grounds me when I'm very emotional.
Well, you know, it's not just emotions itself. It's just, you know, yeah, I mean, it's all about emotions, right? For me, in my perspective, I set aside a lot of my emotions. I'm not a very emotional person. I'm more of a inner thought and just, you know, I'll hammer it through type of person. Kelsey isn't. Or
just let it go.
Yeah,
which I learned to do. I need to let it go sometimes.
But you, on the other hand, are very emotional. Like,
not very. Well, actually, yeah.
Well, compared to me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's stuff that, like, I think you're acting a fool, right? Like, when you fight about some things, I think you're fighting about some dumb stuff, right? But I have to understand that you're not me, right? Mm-hmm. And if you were a same copy of me, that'd be terrible because, you know, I wouldn't know what you're thinking and you wouldn't know what I'm thinking.
Yeah, for our relationship,
right.
Yeah, we'd be two rocks just staring at each other and then it would build up and build. It would build and then we'd explode and it would be very, very violent and aggressive. Well, I got like really excited talking about it.
So that's what I'm saying, you just have to understand each other and like know each other's personalities. Like know what he's thinking, right? It's not good to guess, but it's also good to sort of understand your partner, right? Mm-hmm. And know that, hey, you know, he is doing something for the good of us both. Mm-hmm. So let me just die down and just give him his time, right? Mm-hmm. Because guess what? There is 24 hours in a day, but, you know, you got to understand that bills do need to get paid.
Yeah, your feelings are valid.
Right.
And if there's any misunderstandings and things that, you know, is bugging you, you should definitely talk about it with your partner. And when you address things, not to be so mean about it. Like, for me, when I say things to, like, Justin and, like, you know, like, say what my problems are, I used to, like, bring it up really mean, right? Like, I used to be, like, really, like, you, like, you did this, and I feel bad, right? Like,
you just
emotionally there.
Yeah, once you're like something doesn't work out and something doesn't click, you're very pushy about things.
Yeah, like you're to blame and you made me feel this way and that kind of stuff. But I've gotten a lot better.
You've gotten better. I'd
say to approach it really nice.
Well, you're lucky enough.
He's patient.
It goes 1 year and it just goes out.
But in my perspective, I don't want that to happen.
I think it's also because my mother is like just like you. Like, I've been able to sort of tune things out. I don't know. It's just a habit that I've been able to sort of build. Because listen, like, my mother talks ton. I don't know. I don't think it's a girl thing. Like, some girls are just quiet, but my mother and my family just look. I dealt with so many things. It just goes 1 year and then out, you know? So, for me, that's the best.
But when you're arguing, don't say that.
Right, when we argue,
it shouldn't come out the other ear, and that'll make more of an issue. It
does, but for me, it makes me more calm because I'm not really listening to the full picture. So that's what I...
Yeah, but if you're the partner who does that and you're in an argument, trust me, you do not want to say that while you're arguing.
Right, don't say that while you're arguing.
Whatever you're saying is going through my 1 ear and it's coming out the other. Like, that's the last thing you want to say. You want to say, I'm listening and I understand.
Right. But, you know, just figure out things that work and don't work and go with it. Yeah, you don't really have to tell your techniques to the partner, but, you know, if it works, and just a smooth sailing on until... another hiccup and then you'll get right back to it, you know? If there was no hiccups, you know, it's not a relationship. Yeah. It's I mean, you know, even friends have hiccups, ups and downs. So it's just life. Yeah, just like life. Life is not always happy. You're going to have sad days. You're going to have good days. You're going to have just dull days. And you're going to have terrible days, right?
I think that's something you need to understand, especially if your partner is busy or you may think they're too busy for you.
Yeah, just understanding. And I think we're gonna end it on that note.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a good note. Hopefully someone took this helpful. I mean, obviously our relationship isn't 100%, but...
And it's not like you have to do the things that we say. This is just from our experiences.
Right.
And we just hope that it helps other young couples out there.
Right. And look, we're not relationship coaches at all.
Or therapists.
Look, like, I don't have a degree in... What was it?
It's like psychology.
The psychology.
Like
look, I wish I did so I could understand what's going on in that head, but I don't. And look, we're just human beings, right? We're just trying to help other people because look, you know, we got friends that, you know, need help in relationship stuff, right? And they always say like, "Hey, are you guys happy with the relationship?" Because we've been dating for like 3-4 years. Well, 4 years.
Going on 4.
4, yeah. So like, look, it's all about working together and figuring things out.
And
you know?
We're still learning too.
Right. And like everything in life, you don't want to give up. Giving up is the last thing you want to do.
If you really value that
if you
person.
cherish something, it doesn't matter. If you cherish money, if you cherish your work, if you cherish your job, if you cherish anything, you never give up. Right? And a relationship is the same thing. You never give up because there's one hiccup, right? You always get back and just... get to it, right? Don't BS anything. Just get to it, right to the point. You know, don't spend time, you know, fluffing things up in a relationship. Just get to the core bits, right? And just understand why you love that person.
Like, don't waste each other's time.
Right. All right. Well, hopefully, if you guys like this podcast / talk show,
We'll be on YouTube.
Yes.
And Spotify and Apple Music.
Yes, and everything will be in the description. Yeah, we have not figured that out yet, so we are working on it. But yeah, if you guys want to hear anything else in our relationship or something that you're struggling with, let us know.
Yeah, you can email us at theunfilteredcouple@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram at theunfilteredcoupleshow.
Yep.
And like DM us, email us, and we can answer your personal questions too.
Yep. And Kelsey will be running the account, not somebody else from a overseas account. So you guys can personally talk to us, and we are with each other almost 24/7. So if you got a question for me, I'll be there to answer. And hopefully you guys like this podcast / talk show.
Yeah.
And I was What's that?
Oh.
A truck?
Yeah.
Oh, construction. Sorry, guys.
Hold on.
But yep.
And we'll see you guys in the next episode.
Yes. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.